This beautiful building, Taj Mahal, itself, it was never used as a palace. It is simply the tomb for the great queen Mumtaz Mahal. And it was actually the fifth Mughal emperor, Shah Jahan, who got this beautiful building constructed after the death of the queen, so that the people may remember their love for centuries. We say the love between Mumtaz Mahal, the lady of the Taj, and the king Shah Jahan. The love between both of them, it's really uncomparable. We cannot compare our love with those people. Those were the legends. How to prove their love to a certain extent? Together, they had 14 children. Out of those 14, only 6 could survive or grow up. Like 4 boys in the middle and the 2 daughters, the eldest and the youngest. Rest others, they died below the age of 6 months due to weakness. If you remember me from outside, Joan, I just told you that all of these Mughals, they were most of their time busy battling, busy fighting. So in that 17th century, in the year 1630, 1630, King Shah Jahan, he was actually busy battling there at Burhanpur, which is a small city in the central part of India, south of Agra, where we are right now. First of all, it's against the rules of battles. You cannot accompany your wife along with you whenever you're into battles. But he loved his wife Mumtaz Mahal so much that by the time he was busy battling there at Burhanpur, Queen Mumtaz Mahal did accompany him over there. And in Burhanpur, after giving birth to this 14th child, in her childbirth, the queen died out. The queen passed out. And that is where actually this sad part of the story begins from. After this, he was left all alone on this earth without his partner, without his companion, without his lover. Queen, when she got married to the king, she was just 19 years old, very young. And when she passed out, she was just 39 years old. Imagine 20 years together. And in those 20 years, she gave birth to those 14 children. Hard time she must have gone through. People say it's love, I call it lust. I would say curse on the lady, I would say rather. Now starts the story of this building. 6 months after her death, 1631, when the king returned victorious over his battle from Burhanpur back to his capital city Agra in the north, where we are right now, he realized that the people, they will forget the love between me and my queen. Maybe after a year or so, 2 years, maximum 5 years. Then their names would be forgotten. So to prove his love to the people, he now decided a memorial for the queen. Catch my words, in the initial stages, he never thought of a tomb for the queen. He just thought of a memorial. So what he did, he invited artists all around the world. And people came up with different ideas, some with different statues, some with different models, maybe some with different paintings. It was finally the model of the Turkish artist, Isa Afindi, which was selected, and that's how the construction of this building started. 1631, completed in 1653. 22 years and roughly 20,000 artists, they were involved in getting this building constructed. 17 years out of those 22 just for the main structure in the middle, 5 years for the other things what we have over here. And out of those 20,000 artists which were involved, most of them were the Persians. And the Persian art that demands symmetry. So all over the building, all over the campus, you will realize today, everything is symmetrical here, balanced here, or identical here. Now, when I talk of symmetry, there's a building on the left-hand side hidden behind the trees. It's the Friday Mosque, the biggest or the largest mosque of this town, Agra. Not India, just for this city. Which building was done first? This mosque before Taj Mahal, facing towards west, that is towards Mecca. Then the center heart, the main Taj Mahal was done. Persians, they demanded symmetry. So to balance with the symmetry, another building on the right had to be constructed as well. To the right of Taj Mahal, we've got the exact replica of the mosque, and he named it as the Royal Guest House. To be honest with you, there was no sense of building a royal guest house at this particular place. Why? Because this place was never used as a palace. It is simply the tomb for the Queen Mumtaz. Only for one reason we have this guest house here, that is to balance with the cemetery. Otherwise it was never used. But, this mosque, it was used by the royal family members and it is an active mosque till today. Every Friday, the local Muslim people of this city, they come here to this mosque to perform their prayers. That is why Taj Mahal is closed on Fridays. Now people put questions to me that how does it operate on Friday? That's a good question to come up. I was just waiting for it. Outside I told you it's a forecourt. Where we came in was eastern, on the other side western. So locals, they're allowed till today only from the western gate. So what happens on Friday? Only that west gate is open. Other three are shut down. People, when they come through that gate, then they use that cornermost platform all the way to reach to their mosque, perform their prayers, and then same is the exit for them. Even me as a tour guide, if I have to come here on Friday, trust me, it's closed for me also. Those people, they have their own special security passes or their cards, which they show to the guards outside. Only then they're allowed to enter inside. Otherwise, it's shut down for the others. Now, you know that story that during the last 8 years of his life, he was house arrested by his own son. You just said outside when we were walking in. Let me elaborate this story because you had a question why he was locked. 1653, I told you this was completed, correct?
Yeah.
Almost 5 years after that, in the year 1658, this man, this king, Shah Jahan, he realized he was turning old. He was getting weaker. So what he did, he just thought of transferring his powers to one of his sons. Out of those 14, I did tell you 6 could survive, 4 boys in the middle and the 2 daughters, eldest and the youngest. So he had 4 boys. Now what was the custom at that time? His elder one would get the throne next after the father. But you know what? His third one, Aurangzeb, cunning fellow, ambitious for the throne. I would say he wanted throne at any cost. What he did for the throne, slaughtered the other 3 brothers first, killed them, screwed them in battle. And when no option was left behind in the year 1658, he was crowned as a king after Shah Jahan. And when he got the powers, he became the king. He thought that his father has wasted most of his money over these kind of artistic things like Taj Mahal. And trust me, to stop his father with any further building like this, he house arrested. He locked his father back in their palace in the Agra fort at a place called Musammanpur. I will show you that place maybe if we go to the fort. Otherwise it's, no, okay. So he was house arrested over there. But when he was there for 8 years. 1666 was the year. When he was 74 years old, this poor fellow, he died out. And when he died there in the fort, the body was brought here to this beautiful building via River Yamuna, which is right behind Taj Mahal. Taj is on the eastern bank of River Yamuna. The body was brought here and he was also buried here by the side of the queen, by his own elder daughter, as she was very close to the father. So that means it's a tomb for both the king as well as the queen. But very important thing, catch my words, the only place, when I say only, I mean it. The only place in this entire circumference of Taj where you won't find cemetery today is there inside. You won't find symmetry over the placement of the grave. I hope you understand why.
Yes.
It is because initially it was planned out just for one, for the queen. Persians, they demanded symmetry. So she's right there in the middle. Almost 36 years after her death, when the king died out, he was buried there by the side of the queen. So whenever I give you free time to walk around, it's a request when you go inside. Right in the middle, you'll find a smaller grave, that is for the queen. Smaller one, remember my words, the shorter one, that's for the queen. On the left-hand side, you'll see a higher one, and that's for the king. But these graves which you will be looking at, these are not the original ones. These are actually the replicas, the duplicate ones. Original ones are exactly 15 feet below it. Why? First of all, it's against the Muslim mythology. You cannot walk around the graves, no. Secondly, you cannot walk on top of the graves as well. That is why King in that century itself, he planned out a second story, almost at a height of 15 feet above those original ones, so that people like you, when you come here for the first time, may have a better idea how those original downstairs look like. So what you'll be covering today would be the replicas, not the real ones. But no regrets, these replicas, they're exactly similar to what we have original downstairs.